Hi, I'm Ziad Touma. I'm the director and co-producer of The Passengers. It's a VR interactive fiction project. You know, when you're sitting in a train or taking the subway and you see other people around you wandering and their thoughts, you have like a preconception of what they're thinking, who they are, and you make up your own mind about who these people are and where they're going, except you never know really who that person is unless you're in their head. And we created an experience where you could actually enter the head of four different characters traveling together in a train and help them through their own journey achieve their quest. Once you enter the mind and thoughts of a character, you wonder how to write that experience. How do we think, really? What is our train of thought? And we had four characters in The Passengers. We have her, a young woman, him, a young man, an older lady, and a child. And each of them, the way to write their experience is a different flow. How people use words, how they speak to themselves in their own mind, if they speak to each other in the first person or in the third person, if they speak fast or slow. So it was a really interesting exercise to try to penetrate the minds of different characters in that way and try to invite the user to see the flashbacks, so experiences in those characters, those lives, so different experiences in 360, and through the use of the user's voice and gestures, and especially gaze, the whole story can change, and you can affect the journey of each of those passengers. The Passengers took 5 years to produce in this form, from the very beginning idea to prototyping it, testing different ways, through the writing, the financing of the development, and the production of it. It was a binational effort. It's a co-production between Canada and France, and probably hundreds of people worked on it in all different capacities, and each of these people had an impact on the experience, whether it was the 360 videos or the interactive work that we presented. Every time each person came in and collaborated and brought pushed it a bit forward. From the very beginning, we were financed by the Canadian Media Fund as well as the CNC in France. And we had many different studios collaborating, whether it be from the visual or audio or interactive level. So it's a big labor of love with many parties involved. The potential of immersive storytelling is huge for the future. We are just starting to see the potential of it. Different artists are coming from different media. They are using it in very different ways, very different creative ways to push the boundaries of what is traditional story, what is interactive storytelling. And we should just try to keep pushing the boundaries every time. In The Passengers, we tried that every time you experience it, it's a different story depending on your gaze and the way you interact with your hands or with your voice for the characters. We tried that the whole sound environment changes as well depending on the user's behavior. So it's really full of potential, and the more we're gonna keep at it, the more we're gonna keep watching each other's projects as well and being inspired, the more we're going to be able to provide experiences that are universal, human, and touching as much as they are innovative technologically. Of course, when we think in terms of spatial, it's really the scenography, kind of like theater or dance. We are really playing with space, which is a very different art form than the traditional 2D photography or cinema media. In On top of that, you bring a user's perspective and the freedom of choice. So one of the biggest challenges that we tried overcoming in the passengers is letting the user completely free in their choices when they are in the character's mind to look wherever they want and behave the way they want within the story, without, however, ruining the experience of the three other passengers sitting next to them when you are in an LBE location-based experience setting. So that was one of the interesting questions we raised. And of course, the other question that always comes in those interactive projects is whether we want the user to really feel the impact of their choices and their actions within the experience, or whether we want to make it completely transparent and seamless. So the decision to have something in between where you give some subtle cues for the user just to give them a type of reward or recognition for their behavior was our solution in the case of the passengers. You know, this space of XR is such an innovative technology and space to be at, and it's not just about the creation of the actual piece, but it's rethinking the whole model from the beginning to the end, from the way we write, from the way we use the tools to write the experience, to think about it, the way we project ourselves in the user's perspective when they will be interacting with the work, and also the way we sell it. So reinventing the business model of it, the way we're going to be distributing the piece, how people will come to see it. So it's really rethinking the whole system of production, from the financing to sales, including the way that the audience will be behaving and interacting with the piece. So it's not just communicating an artistic thought or journey, but it's mostly putting ourselves in the minds of the audience and always being from the user's perspective. And that really taught me a lot